What's up folks, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's episode we're going to be cleaning out this 2012 VW Polo and giving it a good bath and try and get rid of some of this black dirty ass mould that's in it. Hopefully, you know, the new auxiliary belt, alternator belt, whatever you want to call it, should be turning up, and a few odds and ends, and hopefully, you know, we'll be getting that put on for you to see as well. But yeah, we still got the electrical issue and a few odds and ends to button up. I've already started to look at the electrical issues. Apart from finding the biggest mouse nest underneath the cowling, under the wipers, the harness appears to be okay. But what I'm wondering is there a plug between the body harness and the engine compartment and the body harness for inside the cabin? And if that's the case, then maybe when the mice got in there, they blocked the water drain holes and it flooded and water got in the plug. But yeah, I like things like that, but you know, we'll find it. Somebody suggested to me in an email that it was the body control unit, so I went and, you know, just on a whim really, because they were quite reasonably cheap, went and bought one, same numbers, same everything, and plugged it in, car started, didn't have to program it or nothing like that. The only thing that didn't work was central locking, but the lights are still on the dash. So, you know, my first port call was, you know, perhaps it was the body control unit or the cluster, because they both have issues. But yeah, like everything, we're just going to give it a bath and a clean up, because I ain't getting in this car and rooting around in it and black mould and everything else. So we'll get you guys in and get you guys recapped on the state of this car, and hopefully we'll get this roof liner and everything at least semi-decently clean and white again. And then that way we can start getting in and digging in and finding out what this electrical fault is. So, sit down, relax, and let's get on with the episode. Right folks, so we're going to kind of do the outside of this mighty monster. And as you can see, look, got marks in the paint, this here, and everything else. But generally, the car is quite straight. I've already had the back lights out and wiped them over because I was checking all the harnesses inside the boot to see what was going on. But the wheels aren't smashed up or beat up, so they're pretty good. We come to this, and I thought the paint had come off the roof until I started scratching at the top of it. Look, it actually does come off. So there is a paint to be had underneath. But if I get into a certain light, there you go, kind of like that, you can see zigzags, which rather looks like something was put on the roof, or this window was taped up for whatever reason. Look. So I'm unsure with what in the house bells is going on with that. But anyway, nonetheless, so I've made up my solution to wash the car in. It's a TFR come something else of mine that I like to use as well. Works absolutely wonders on cars. And all I'm going to do is the old Demon Shine bottles, you know, because I love Demon Shine. When I finish with the bottles, I love just to because they've got a lovely good reach on them. And we just douse it over the car. By the way, folks, the TFR is diluted. It's not on here neat. Although on some more stubborn stains, I prefer to use neat TFR. But nonetheless, we're just going to go and soak the car down in this and all its nooks and crannies and get it on with it, really. I mean, we've got the Mighty Jet washer that's just there. That will take the paint off your car. So we're not going to be too close, but nonetheless, we're just, once I've got this done, I'll get you guys caught back up once I've got the car soaked down in this stuff, and just before I jet wash it. Right folks, so we're now into having a look at this because I'm unsure of what it is and it's bugging me. So what I'm going to do is just gently use some Fairy Up liquid or some sort of soapy water that is your choice. Do the area in question, and we're just going to use 2500 wet and dry sandpaper, and we're just going to lightly go over this and cut this back down to the paint. Now, I know what you guys are going to be saying, hey look, this is going to destroy your clear coat on your car or the paint. And Volkswagens and most European German manufacturers use a really good brand of paints normally. So if this little thing is anything half decent, the paintwork wise I mean, then it isn't going to harm it. But what we're going to do is just gently cut this back down to the paint and then clean up all the area like this. Just gently go over where all that tape was, and then we're just going to afterwards we're just going to buff it. So we're not going to use a block, we're just going to use our hand like so and just gently cut the roof back and forth, left to right, like this and like this, just so you're not getting one particular lines of scratches in your lacquer, because that can be quite the pain in the dairy to get out. But you're not going to damage it, you're just going to give it a light coating over the top like so, and then we're going to come back and start cutting into this more, and because this is going to take a while, because whatever this is, it's on there and it's on there good. So I'll get you guys caught up in a minute when I've got this finished, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I've finished. Right folks, so as you can see, there is no more black, horrible, nasty, whatever it was, to be honest with you. But this has taken quite a considerable amount of time. We are cutting it through and leveling the paint. But for some reason these lines are still in the paint, so I don't know whether to start blocking it with wet and dry or what to do here. But to me it definitely looks like some form of tape for covering up this part of the door. So it tells me that it's, you know, the real, put my tongue in, sorry, brain fart, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I think the window wasn't closed properly, or the car had a leak and they taped it and it's blown off. Honestly, I couldn't tell you because I wasn't there. But nonetheless, it's here, it's with us now, and we're going to get into it. But as I say, nonetheless, we can't seem to shift these tape lines. So what we're going to do now is move on to the cutting compound of it, which is the old brand that I personally like, is G3, because this is quite a nice cutting compound. Well, this is the colour restorer. Idiotto! So I'm going to have to go get the fine cutting compound and and cut the roof now, and hopefully get rid of this dullness. Now, for those that are saying, hey, you've gone too far, if you're ever concerned that you've gone too far, and how would you tell you've gone too far when you wet and dry or block sand your roof or whatever it is you want to do? You know, I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of know what I'm doing. You know, like I say, I'm no body shop. You know, I'm just some guy that's picked up some trips and trips along the way. Say that when you're drunk, tips and trips. So, you know, if you start to get blue paint, or when you start doing it and you start getting like a blue or whatever the colour of the car is on your wet and dry sandpaper, then you're going to say that the lacquer is no longer there, the clear coat is no longer there, and it's just pure paint that you're cutting into. So no matter what you do at that point, it's never ever going to be perfect unless you re-lacquer the car. But for those that are saying, you know, screaming at me in the comment section below that you've killed the roof of this car, if you go ahead and just spray it with water, like so, and look how shiny it's come up when you do this, that's what the final product's going to look like once you've buffed the roof of the car. It'll be slightly duller than that, obviously, but nonetheless, that's kind of what it's going to look like. It's going to look 100 times better than what was there. I mean, you still got some dulling in here, so it's whatever it was has burnt the paint. But as I say, nonetheless, you know, we'll call that a success. So I'm going to get this wiped off now, get this cleaned up, and then we're going to move on and cut the roof back with cutting compound, not colour restorer. Idiota. Anyway, nonetheless, I'll get you guys caught up in a minute. Right, folks, so here you go. Job's done, kind of, about 50% done. This was just a brief, quick wet and dry with block sander and a bit of cutting compound and a rag. But this took me about an hour to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home, I'm going to grab up my buffer mop and everything and do any other paint corrections on the vehicle that needs to be done, because if you take a walk around the back of the car here, as the short one gets off of a pedestal, as you can see, look, we have more tape, looks like tape here, for whatever the reason is, I do not know. And down here, look, on the wheel arch, we're going to try and clean up this as best as we can, and a few scratches. And on the spoiler, if you come up to the little lip spoiler, we've got marks up there as well. And so yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go around, block sand the entire car, like here, get rid of all these imperfections, and basically try and get the car as best as we can possibly get it. And hopefully the person, when they have it back, is going to be really happy. But it does look like it's had a respray around this rear quarter panel. But nonetheless, we'll get it as best as we can get it and what we got. And hopefully the person, when they come to pick the car back up, will be really chuffed with it. So yeah, and we have in the bonnet as well, look, in the clear, looks like burn marks in the paint. So we're going to cut that back and see what goes on. So if you're curious if it's going to come out or not, like I said, wet your finger and do that. You'll see it all comes and disappears, look. That's what it's going to kind of look like when it's finished. So I know that that's all going to come out. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, key the car, cut it and get it as best as we can. But like I say, folks, that's going to be a wrap on this video today. And because it's going to get on for far too long. And I'm going to say much love from me. Peace out.